How's everybody doing? My name is Mike, and we got my dog Roots hanging out on place, and we also got Mr. Joe with us today. And what we're going to talk about today is the dog anticipating what your next move is going to be, and the dog moving before you've actually asked the dog to move. I see this all the time. That's why I did the last video was on leash awareness. This kind of goes right into anticipation. So you have to be aware of your leash is the first part of that. And then the next part is I see dogs move before the owner's actually given the command. You know, if they're saying place, before they've said place, the dog's already moved. Like they go say, I'm going to demonstrate, I'm going to put the bed down, and Joe particularly wants to just move as soon as possible because he knows I am going to put him on place. He already knows what my intention is. And again, this kind of goes into momentum as well. The dog builds momentum, and that just compounds the excitement. And the excitement is what's causing all the issues in the home. So we want to keep the excitement down. We want the dogs relaxed. This is what dogs do. They relax during the day. They're not supposed to be excited 24 hours a day. So we'll go ahead and show you how to stop that anticipation. The biggest thing is you don't want to allow it. If you ask the dog to go on place, but the dog moved just a fraction of a second before you asked him to, now he's not adhering to the structure, he's crossing your boundary. And if you allow him to do that, meaning you let him get on place without correcting that and doing it again, now the dog believes it is okay to anticipate things. So now the dog begins to have an impulse control problem and is going to want to make decisions on his own. All of this training is about getting the dog to understand that he does not make decisions. Okay, so let's go ahead and get him off place and show you guys what I'm talking about. So even right now, anticipation would be if I was about to say, tell him to get off, and he just like got off on his own. Then we would stop him and put him back on. Heel. So now he's allowed off. And see how he kind of hesitated just to make sure. And then I give him a little leash pressure. So let's go ahead and put this. This is how the bed is when he's in the crate. His bed's like this. Heel. Let's walk away so I can pretend like we're walking right up to it. So I'd walk up to it. Sit. Good boy. Good sit. So then that leash awareness comes in right away. I'm dropping that leash to give him room. And if I want him to stay, I'm going to repeat the word sit, the command sit. Sit. So even though I'm grabbing this is what he would do. I would grab the bed, and then when I would stand up, he would try to run onto the bed. So I want him to see that I can touch this and I can do whatever I want to this bed, but until I've given him the command to go there, he must remain in that sit. Good boy, good sit. And that's also what he would do is after I tell him good, then he would break the command. But just because I said good doesn't mean he can go ahead and do the other command. Good sit. Sit. Good boy. Good sit. Good. Place. That's exactly how we want it. If he were to move, I would correct him, put him back in the sit. Good boy. Heel. All right. So we're going to go ahead and do it again. Sit. And this is how we would do things with the dog, is that we do it over and over again. Again, leash awareness, sit, good boy. And I'm just reminding him because it's a good idea. I'm setting him up for success. I know he wants to move, so I'm going to remind him. It's also hard for him to sit on the floor. That's why I usually have him sit on the carpet, is because the floor is pretty slick, so he has to actually do some work to stay in the sit, or he could choose to lay down if he would like. Place. Good job, buddy. Just because I'm about to say it, I don't want him to move. And if the dog were to move, you just give a correction for that. So it's very important not to allow the dog to anticipate these types of things. I just see it all the time where a lot of time owners do not understand that you don't want the dog to jump in on the place. You know, I had to stop him from running into place or out the door. Like, they want to do things with a lot of excitement. So we want to train them to be as calm as possible. That's where you're going to see your best behaved dog. That's where you're going to have peace in your home. Otherwise, if you have an excited dog, you're just not going to have peace. You're going to have a dog that does all sorts of things. Different dogs are going to show different symptoms of being super excited. Hey, So yeah, he did a good job with that. And the way we show him to stay is place. So just because I tell him, just because he feels a little pressure, place, good boy. Just because he feels a little pressure on the leash doesn't mean he doesn't listen to that command. So this is how we make those commands solid with the dog. Good boy, good place. He does a good job, he gets affection. Good job, buddy. Good place. You did a good job. You did a good job. So yeah, if the dog's not doing something right, this is why I did this today, again, is because the dog was constantly anticipating me, so I had to make it an exercise. That's what I want you to take from the video, is that if the dog's not doing good at something, then you need to make it an exercise. Practice it over and over, and the dog will become desensitized to it and see that there's nothing to be excited about.